listening to the Wandering Womb podcast with Jess and Jaimi. Strong women, strong drinks, strong views, and strong language.
Evening and welcome to a sweltering hot Wandering Womb podcast. That's made it sound dead seedy. I really regret that now. I feel like being like, welcome to Jess
Babe
and Jamie's
Station.
OnlyFans.
Only? You say only, like only?
OnlyFans. What's wrong with the way I say OnlyFans? Oh, fucking hell. Just to be transparent to everybody listening, we've just recorded 12 minutes of this fucking podcast on mute because the fucking mic was not plugged in right. So we're starting all over again, and now we've got to try and remember what we fucking said for 12 fucking minutes. So
I can remember the start bit.
But we can't. I'm not going to take that out on the listeners, so we should start all over again.
Yeah, but so I just want to make sure that I treat everybody to this. Me and Jess were talking about how we've got all of the windows open except for one, and Jess said you should open that window open with it being so hot, and I said I don't want to because it spat. It was spitting a little bit earlier.
It's spitting. Get in.
And I said I don't want that to happen because remember last time we left the window open and it rained where the TV is. So the TV is next to the other window. And then I did my sound effect. I did an impression.
Jamie's free sound effects. You are all owed several of them.
I know, I've not been doing them for a while.
They're getting no added value because you're just not doing any sound effects no more.
So anyway, I was saying that if we were to open the window next to the TV and leave it open all night when it rains, this is what I think electricity and water would sound like before the fire. Okay, you ready? And that's what I think it would sound like.
Wow, I feel like everybody's gonna really like take that on board, enjoy it, like, you know, take it forward. Life-changing stuff there from Jamie Shrive.
So this episode,
hang on, we've not caught them up.
Oh.
So we've had a few drinks. We've been to the pub.
Oh, okay.
Haven't we?
Yep.
And we were... I'm saying this like you've heard it all before. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were telling you about this. Do you remember that? No, you fucking don't, because it was on mute. So, yeah, no, we've come back from the pub, and we went out for dinner together, and we went and sat... I know exactly just what went through your head then.
I just looked and I've only got half a drink left, and then I just pointed over because I remember we've got 2 bottles of alcohol in the corner of our bedroom, like fucking 17-year-old kids.
I know, they're hidden down the side, aren't they?
Yeah.
Who are we hiding them from? Who knows? Why have we hidden them? Why are they down there under all that stuff?
So the sunlight doesn't get on them.
That's true, yeah, no one wants that. Hiding it from the sun. So we went to the pub, had a few drinks, had dinner together. It was lovely. We were out in the countryside and watched the sunset. It was gorgeous, and we stayed there pretty much almost till closing, and then came back, and we decided to do a couple of podcast recordings while we'd had a drink. We've just had some more drink. I sound battered, but I'm not that drunk. And yeah, Jamie's just realised that she's only got half a glass left, so she's going to go top that up.
I am. But I am actually... I would like to pause this if that's okay, because I want to make moon water.
What, right now?
It's a full moon tonight and it's 11:30, so I need to make moon water.
What, while we're recording this?
Shall I tell them about how I've been on a journey?
What, to the moon?
No. I've just been reading about moon work and working with the moon.
That, right, hang on a minute. Can we not get into that right now? Because there's some knobhead online giving people moon readings in my name. Right? And if I find out it's you... Fuck's sake, can you imagine that plot twist? It's you.
Yeah, I bought you those new diamond earrings, didn't I?
What, from your moon reading money? Yeah, some fucking knobhead on Insta, Facebook, and now TikTok.
Yeah.
Pretending to be me. It's got my face, my fucking name on it. And they're like contacting people asking them if they want a moon reading, right? Which is bad enough. But
I
their
don't even know what a
fucking
moon
spelling
reading
and
is.
grammar's shocking. And that's embarrassing, 'cause it's got my fucking name and my face on it. And they've got all my handles, so like my handles on everything are at Dr. Jess Taylor, and they've added like a Y, so it says at Dr. Yeah, you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah.
So it says at Dr. Jess Taylor, but 2 Ys. Oh, for fuck's sake! You wouldn't believe the amount of people contacting me going, Jess has a fake account, it's giving people moon readings and shit. Right. So to be honest with you, it is a bit sus now.
Could be me.
That you're now basically admitting that you do moon shit.
I'm like, yeah, do you know what? I do moon shit. I've only just started to do it. I started going to a new nail lady, and she said that it helped her periods. And I was like, do you know what? Where's the harm in it? We think that, humans think that we know loads about science, but we don't. So what's the harm in me getting a glass, putting it next to the window and drinking it the next morning, or washing in it, or pouring it on some plants?
No, there isn't any harm in that whatsoever. There are much more harmful rituals than that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, we are.
Also, if anybody does do moon stuff or anything like that, I'm very new to it. Please message me about it. I would like to have new moon friends.
New moon friends.
I don't even know if that's a thing.
You could call each other moomins.
Yeah.
Do you remember the moomins?
Yeah, I remember the moomins.
I used to love the moomins.
Did you?
I did actually. I really, really did.
I feel like you're trivialising the very important moon work that I'm talking about.
I'm not, honestly.
Moon work's very serious.
So are moomins. I feel like you're trivialising moomins. Have you thought about that? Offensive.
Sorry, moomins.
Yeah, you should say sorry to the BBC. Yes, so I don't know how I'm supposed to segue into what it is we're talking about now. I ain't got the skill to do that. Where's Ant and Dec when you need them? So, Dec's grieving.
What?
Oh my god, have you not seen the news?
No?
Dec's, I think it was his older brother, suddenly died a couple of days ago.
And you've just laughed.
I didn't laugh at that.
Oh.
I laughed at the Moomins. Don't laugh. No, he did. I don't know that much about it, so I'm not going to comment on it in any way, like, because I couldn't provide a comment. Like, I don't have any opinion on it, other than obviously death is bad. Stop laughing. This is why people don't like us.
I was just going to say people didn't like us already. Now we're laughing at. I actually don't even think it's funny. I actually have a really horrible relationship with grief.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't think it's funny either. But you're making me laugh, and I'm making you laugh, and it's getting to the point
just
where
for the record,
we may as well be 14, stood in a school corridor, being like, "Don't laugh," or you're going to get told off, and then you just laugh.
I was going to say, just for the record, at least probably once a week, I have a breakdown about people I love dying.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't even think it's funny, but it's one of the things where it's like, don't laugh, because that would make you look like a horrible person. And now what am I doing? Laughing on a podcast where we've got 80,000 people listening.
Yeah, just showing up how complex human nature is. Brain going, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh, while the exact same brain that is going, don't laugh, is laughing.
Yeah.
It's complicated. But
it is complicated, which I think leads us relatively
No, it
nicely on
doesn't. It doesn't. That's a
to the
terrible
complication around, it's a very tedious link,
It's a terrible fucking link.
around, humans are supposed to live, have babies, die, their babies have babies, they die. Babies don't die. Oh my god, Jaimi.
You're killing me tonight. Fucking hell.
I've got COVID fog.
COVID fog.
COVID fog.
Just adds to the endless symptoms of COVID.
I know.
We shouldn't be trusted to do this podcast after we've been out drinking.
I only had
Maybe
2
we should
drinks.
just drink whilst we do the podcast.
I've only had 2 drinks.
Yeah, so Jaimi was clumsily trying to connect it to the podcast topic today, which is remaining childless. So women remaining childless, and the complicated and nuanced discussions around that, which we're going to attempt to have whilst drinking. There's more and more research and statistics suggesting, right, that there's decreasing rates of pregnancy and motherhood, and essentially the desire of young women to want to be mums, you know, to want to have babies, that is actually reducing year on year. And so I wanted to use this episode to talk about that. So we've written some questions down, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we're going to sort of like work through them, have a think about it. We have talked about this quite a lot personally, haven't we? And we talk about it with colleagues and friends.
Yeah.
It's a topic that has come up quite a lot. What is it that... I remember you said something really interesting and insightful. Do you remember what it was to introduce this topic about like when you first started talking about it? If you don't, that's fine, and I'll just sort of...
I feel like I said a lot of insightful things when it was on mute.
I feel like we had to go back, re-record this, drink more.
I know.
And now we're coming into this with lower IQs, frankly.
So I was talking about how when women and well, you know, mothers want to have a moan, basically, about the fact that they are not enjoying their time as a mum, or they're having a really difficult time, or even that they're miserable, or even something little, when you are the person who she is talking to, that there is an expectation there that you should be like, oh no, you're doing a great job, they're such lovely kids, and you know, it's not that bad, and you'll feel better soon, and all of this.
It'll always be like this, and your kids are lovely.
Yeah, because I think that women are sort of, how do I put this? If you say, oh, do you know what, I agree with you, it's really difficult, I've seen your kids behave like this, you're telling the truth, I believe you.
I've seen your kids.
Do you know what? Yeah, exactly. And people would think that is criticising the woman. Because if you criticise someone's kids, people see it as
reflection on the woman, not the dad.
Yeah, on the parents, especially the woman. So you're supposed to sort of reassure them that it's not that bad. So then that means that women end up feeling as though almost that they've been shut down, but there is a bit of a positive that, oh, you know, maybe it's not that bad. It's almost like gaslighting, actually. But in not in such a negative, nasty...
Not in a malicious
way. So it means that women don't complain as often as when, you know, as they might need to. But also that other women especially, when they are, you know, having sort of a moan together, that they're not honest either. Because you don't feel like you can be. And all, you know, it is, you're right, it is always seen as a reflection on the woman. So you can't even join in and say, you know what, I agree with you. Whereas like other things, if they were like, oh, you know, my fucking boss at work, he always does this, like, and this, and this. And then your friend would be like, oh, I've heard about him, he's a prick, isn't he? And then that would make the woman feel like she was validated, heard, or even if she was talking about a family member, her dad, her mum, something like that. Oh yeah, I remember when your mum did this, I remember when your dad did this. Again, validated, heard. Even to a partner, if they talk about a partner, you know, you could say, oh well, I did see that time when he said this in front of everyone, and I have noticed that he never does his share. But when it comes to a woman's children, even if she is having a difficult time or not enjoying it or whatever, you feel as though there is like a pressure that you cannot validate her. Because to validate her is to essentially call into question her ability as a mum.
Even though that's really not what you're doing, is it?
Yeah, no, and it's not what you're doing. And, you know, even if you are, you know, sort of an incredible woman and you're, you know, I don't know, you're top of your game in your career, being a mother, if you are a mother at that point, that's seen as the, like, most important thing in your life.
Yeah, and the thing that you're supposed to get right.
Exactly.
Like, no matter what, basically.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if, like, fucking house has fallen down and is in tatters, burning, and your husband's fucked off with someone else. You're still supposed to be mum of the year.
Yeah, but, like, if you're, like, an excellent businesswoman and your kid's naughty, people are like, well, you know, she's got all this money, but her kids are little brats, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's such a complex... position to be in.
Yeah. I really appreciate your sort of like your insight and like your thoughts on it, because I think it is important, you know, what I can definitely say, if you're going to listen to this podcast, you're going to carry on listening to it, is that you may well hear us talk about things that have never been expressed out loud around you, or you've only ever thought of as a mum.
Yeah.
You know, if you are a mum yourself, or if you have mum friends that you may never have heard expressed out loud, but I can guarantee you they've gone through their heads, they're just not saying it. And that's, you know, some of this really nuanced stuff. Like, I will tell you right now that there are mums listening to this, or you know mums that regret motherhood.
Yeah.
In its totality. Literally, if you said to them, if you had your life again, would you be a mum? They go, fuck no.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't enjoy it. I don't get nothing out of it. It does not empower me. It does not fulfill me. I wish I had focused on myself. I wish I'd never settled down, and I wish that I had followed all my dreams. And yes, my kids are lovely, whatever, I love them. But is this for me? No, it's not for me. Why did I do this? I'm not maternal. I come across women who talk like that. When they feel safe, they will talk like that. If they don't fucking feel safe, which is 99% of the time, you'll never hear that out of a woman's mouth. But if she's safe and that's how she feels, then she'll tell you the truth. It's not common, because they're waiting for that level of judgment. And I know that when we like recorded the other one that we was on mute, you were talking about the article, weren't you? That I was.
Yes, I was just going to bring this up. So about a year ago, Jess was writing a series of articles for one of the, probably the most, if not one of the most popular tabloids in the UK. And you had quite a lot of sort of free reign, didn't you? Or you were told that you had a lot of free reign over what you wrote the articles on. And you chose to write one on women regretting motherhood. You wrote this piece, and you were very balanced in it, and you said, you know, it doesn't mean that these women don't love their children. It doesn't mean that they're not great mothers. It doesn't mean that, you know, they don't care about their children. But, you know, we do, there's a lot of women who do regret motherhood. There's a lot of women who didn't ever choose to be mums, etc. And the editor basically said it would be too uncomfortable for the readers, and it was too taboo, and they edited it with an inch of its life. And you said, I'm sorry, but I'm not happy for that to go out, because that's not what I've said.
No, it wasn't. It was fucking unrecognisable. They were like, oh, we've done a bit of edits on it. I was like, what? You may as well fucking written that yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to write that piece, you fucking write it.
Yeah. And so I don't think the piece ended up going out, but what it did mean was that over the last sort of 12 months, I think that you have steered quite a lot of conversation around this topic. And I think that more and more women are starting to even reflect on the fact that actually, do you know what? I didn't choose to be a mum. I fell pregnant and I felt like it was what I was supposed to do, or...
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know, that almost like, well, I thought I was supposed to settle down and have a baby. And do you know what? I know that having a baby is positioned as like one of the biggest decisions of your life. But when you are essentially like socially groomed into it from like birth as a girl, given fucking dollies and prams and shit, how can you claim that that's a free decision?
Yeah.
You've been groomed to do that from birth, right? So actually it makes sense to me when women now in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s will have conversations with me and go, I don't know why I had kids. I never wanted kids. I wasn't maternal.
Yeah.
I didn't think, oh, I can't wait to get pregnant and have a baby. Like, it happened, and then they thought, you know, in a lot of cases, I've spoken to women that sort of said, well, I just thought, well, you know, this is it now. Like, I'm going to be a mom. And you know, I've spoken to women who said, I did think about having a termination, but then I thought, well, it's not their fault. I've brought them into the world, so now it's my responsibility to look after them.
Yeah.
And, like...
I think that there are a lot of myths around motherhood. So, like, as an example, the whole way through me growing up, I never even... It wasn't a case of, oh, I think I would like a baby when I'm an adult or grown up. I always was like, when I have a baby, I hope it's a girl. I I want to call her this, and I really romanticised it because, you know, in films, in what you're told as a kid, and also growing up, is that motherhood is like the most fulfilling thing you will ever do, and you'll love this baby and everything else. And it wasn't until I started getting older and to the sort of age where a lot of women around me were having children, and there was this sort of, are you gonna have one soon? Have you got a little one? And I was like, no, I'm a kid. And I realised actually I'm not a kid, obviously, but I didn't feel ready to give up my life.
Yeah.
And it made me realise that is a lot of what motherhood is. And I think having conversations with, you know, other mums, listening to you, listening to my family members, listening to friends about what it actually is like to have to be a mum, I have realised actually that I don't want that.
No.
And we've got our boys, but they're my stepkids. They have me, you, their like stepdad, dad, and then his partner. Mm-hmm. They get shared between four of us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of having an adult influence, and then they've also got their extended family.
Yeah.
That's nothing like one parent or two parents.
No.
But when it's sort of one or two parents and that's it, that is a lot. That's a lot of work that I'm not prepared to give up in my life.
No, I don't blame you at all. Like if I said, you know, there really is a conversation to be had that is what is seen as taboo, and I just don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I wish it wasn't taboo. I wish that women could openly say to their friends, to their mums, to their sisters, even to their own partners, that if I was to do over my life, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't have children. Because so many women feel like that. If there's any women listening to this thinking that you're like strange, do you know what I mean? You're fucking not, I'll tell you that now. The amount of women that talk to me privately or email me or message me and go, I regret being a mum, I aren't getting any fulfilment from this, I don't feel that this was the right decision, I am going to see this through, I am a good mum, I am committed, but I cannot wait for this to be over, it's wank, right? Don't think for a moment that you are unique, because you're not. You're not strange, you're not evil, there's not something wrong with you. It's extremely common. It's just that it's not, it's almost like the ultimate taboo. I can't think of something else more taboo than that, than a mother saying, I regret this, I've made a mistake. Well,
even the sort of phrase mothering, she's very mothering, it basically means maternal.
Yeah. But maternal also has feminine.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even the word.
Whereas the word paternal is different, which just shows how much more commitment and time and compassion it takes to be a mum.
Expected.
Yeah.
So, for me, one of the first questions that I'd written down was like what our opinion was on the decreasing rates. Honestly, I'm all for it. I am. If there is a new generation of women coming up that are like, nah, fuck that, I'm going to have a career and I'm going to do what I want and I'm going to, or even, I don't even care. I don't give a shit if they're like, don't really want a traditional career either, to be honest with you. Don't want kids, just don't want them. I'm not expecting them to like replace children with a high flying career. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm not saying it's kids or a career, so therefore if you're not having kids then you have to be fucking Lord Sugar or some shit. I just want them to have like, I think it's enough. Women should just go, I don't want to do that.
I want to enjoy my life.
Yeah, like,
and if they want to,
that should be enough, shouldn't it?
Yeah, if they want to live on benefits, climb trees, fucking do whatever they want, if they are happy and they're not harming anyone, it's none of my fucking business.
No. And I also have a lot of respect for women that know that from an early age, because I know that I had a friend growing up who I was very close to, who right away, early, said, I never want children. And I remember the girls at my high school listening to her and being like, oh my God, like, there's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
And
she was like, I don't ever want it. And one of the reasons she gave was, now this was her, bear in mind that this is her like teenage brain sort of explaining this. The way she explained it to us when we were having this big conversation at school, she was like, I'm too selfish to have children. And I was like, what do you mean you're not selfish? And she went, I think I am. And I was like, why? Like, you're not selfish. And she said, well, I just don't want to be responsible for another life. I think I just want to be responsible for my own life. I don't want to bring another human in the world. I don't want to look after it. I don't want to spend my entire life constantly caring for it, making sure it's alive. And then, like, you know, my whole life has to then be based on them. And she was like, I don't really want to do that. And that's my reason. And I actually think that takes some fucking strength.
Yeah.
She must have been 15 when we said that, 16. You know that?
I've got a friend who has always said that she doesn't want kids. And I remember the first time she told me, we were at uni, she's like, oh yeah, no, I never want kids. And I was like, all right. And I just was like, she'll change her mind.
See, that comes
like,
up to,
now,
you'll change your mind.
Yeah.
You'll want one when you're older.
But now I've realised that actually I didn't want kids. I just felt like that's what will happen because I should and I will find it fulfilling, has made me realise that actually what she is describing is how I feel as well. Yeah. And it's not that she doesn't like
But isn't it
kids
interesting that some girls get there much earlier?
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think maybe that's what we're seeing with these decreasing rates. That actually girls are getting to that much quicker than older generations did. Because you've got women in their 40s and 50s, right, where they've already got fucking kids, adult kids, going, yeah, to be honest with you, looking back, I wish I'd never done it, right? That's too fucking late then. But now we've got youngsters saying it. Got fucking 15, 16-year-old girls going, fuck kids. I don't want to fucking have kids.
So the next question that we've got written down is, why don't younger women want children? And when we were first deciding what questions to put down, my first reaction to that is that as we are sort of moving on in society, we are increasing our levels of education. And I honestly think that the more educated a woman is, the more she aspires to have a career, have a life, enjoy her life, because she's just spent 6 years studying, getting a degree, getting a master's, and she doesn't want to then become a full-time mum. Because you can work part-time, but you still, even in the office, if you work part-time, you're seen as, oh, she's a mum. She's just here to do her hours and to get her money to pay her mortgage. Yeah. But I think that young women nowadays...
Well, they're seen as like supplementing a man's income.
Yeah.
Oh, she works part-time, but, you know, her husband's the breadwinner.
Yeah. And I think that women are... I'm not saying that it's particularly better than it was, but I think that we can sort of see what we could achieve. And I'm sorry, but having a baby in that is going to significantly hinder your chances of that being easy or even happening at all. Just going to pour myself another drink. Ready? Oh, it sounds like the original Wandering Womb, but this is...
Yeah, it does.
It's
some thick-ass daiquiri.
Yeah, it's Tesco's strawberry daiquiri.
Tesco?
It's Asda.
Who's Asda?
Asda's extra special. It says chill, shake and serve.
And she has done one of those out of 3. She did not chill it.
I did shake it.
I'm not sure. I think it means in a fucking shaker, babe.
Well, I'm not gonna do that.
It doesn't say hide at the bottom of your bedroom under some bags and then pour it out late at night during a heat wave so it comes out lumpy.
Gross. This actually tastes great though.
Yeah, and it smells fucking nice and all.
What about you? What's your opinion? And also, do you know what? I was just going to say, what's your opinion on the decreasing rates of pregnancy and motherhood?
I'm all
We're
for
overpopulated.
I know.
We're overpopulated. We need to stop getting mardy about it. Do you know what the worst thing you can do for the planet is? have a baby. Stop having kids. Stop fucking doing it. There's too many kids in care. There's too many kids who need a family. Like, just stop.
I know.
If you can.
Me and you've had this conversation about why people are so obsessed with passing their own genes down. They think the genes are dead special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, unless you can fly or turn invisible, fucking stop it, will you? You're not passing anything useful down. Can you imagine? What special skill have you got? Right, no.
I have sex without a condom.
Why don't younger women want children? Do you know what the first thing was that came to my mind? Was actually what a young woman said to me. Oh my God, I just called her a young woman and she's only a year younger than me. A woman said to me recently, which is along that line of argument that you just made, which is that her and her partner, who've been together for forever, just felt like they were just polluting the earth, and that not only
the world's shit. Why would you want to bring a kid into it?
And that's what she said to me on the phone. She was like,
if it's a boy, it's likely to be a perpetrator. If it's a girl, she's likely to be abused.
Oh God, that's
and I know that's a horrible way of thinking about it, but it is what it is.
It is true though. Statistically, that's true. You can't argue with that.
Exactly.
Like people could be offended by it, but they can't. They couldn't claim that what you just said was wrong.
No.
So yeah, she said to me, pretty similar. So first of all, she had the environmental argument, right? So that was her first thing, and then the second thing she said to me was, the world is fucking terrible, and me and my partner have zero interest in bringing a child into it together, and. She's always been like that ever since I've met her. She, which was years and years ago now. But it's interesting just hearing how adamant she is, and she fucking is. She's absolutely adamant that it's just not for her or for him. They've just got no interest in it whatsoever. I do think, they're both professionals. They both do very well. They've got a big life ahead of them. They could travel. They could do what they want. They've got a lot of choices ahead of them in terms of what they could use their resources on, the things that she wants to try and do, the things that she's interested in, the things he's interested in, the things he wants to try and do. They're very young. They're both like about a year or so younger than me. So they're only 30. They've got this huge life with 1,000 choices and opportunities ahead of them. And arguably, a lot of those choices are because they have no children.
I think from...
You can see why she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, I think from, a radical feminist perspective as well, is that sort of coming off from what I just said, is you don't get to really choose if you have a boy or a girl child. But if you have a boy, they will benefit from the oppression of women and girls.
And you.
Including yourself as a female. And, that's what it is. And you can talk all the time about, oh, my son... no, I'm sorry, but he benefits... No, he benefits from the oppression of women and girls in everyday life. And then, again, if it's a woman, a girl, she is going to be oppressed.
Which is why so many women we know who have daughters... That is what they talk to us about. They go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm bringing a daughter up into this fucking shit show.
Yeah.
They know what's that. They're not stupid. They know what that woman, is now a little girl. But that little girl's going to grow into a woman.
Exactly.
And then what? Congrats. Now you're in it with us. It's wank.
And you're going to have kids and that's going to be your life.
Yeah. What? You can see why so many women are like, fuck this. This is fucking awful. It's like a conveyor belt of shit. And that's why... I support it. These, it does not scare me one fucking bit. All these scaremongering fucking headlines. Oh, the birth rates are going down. Younger women don't want children. Fucking good.
We want the birth rates to go down, though. I don't understand.
That's the bit that gets me as well. They've been moaning for I don't know how long about the population's going to be a bazillion and we're all going to die. And now they're like, the birth rate's not high enough. Isn't this terrible? Let's tax the childless. Oh, fuck off, will you? Fucking few years ago, you were going on about how population's so high that the Earth's going to get heavy or something and drop out the sky. You know what I mean?
God, who said that?
I just made that up. But what I was channeling in my head was the Daily Express.
Ah, that's very accurate of the Daily Express.
Yeah, it
to be
is,
fair.
because every time the Daily Express does this thing. Sorry to go off track here, but the Daily Express does this thing where every summer they claim it's going to be the hottest summer ever and that everyone's going to die. It's going to be like the Sahara, and then every winter they claim that it's going to be the biggest blizzard since like 1861, and that everyone's going to die.
Yeah,
and like.
And it's Corbyn's fault.
I feel like the headlines. Right, if I had enough time, I'd go back through Google and look at winter versus summer headlines of the Express about weather, and I will show you that they're being recycled and they're almost word for word, and they've been going on for decades.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't even
British
know why
people love talking about the weather, though, so they'll pick up a paper that talks about the weather.
Oh, for sure. Even if it says stuff like, this winter is due. It says things like -60. Predicted for our winter. Like, fuck off. Who buy? You? You and your mate.
Mystic Meg.
Do you remember Mystic Meg?
Yeah.
Do you actually remember Mystic Meg on the National Lottery?
Yeah.
Right, do you remember that she had the ball?
Yeah, and then they started replacing her with, like, animals, like a mystic octopus.
What?
Where they were like,
I don't
oh,
remember
which...
that. Are you just making this up?
No, where they were like, where they asked the octopus
Fuck off, I'm
which
looking this
football
up.
team was going to win, and then whichever flag the octopus would go to was the football team that was going to win. They were like, oh, this octopus has never got this wrong.
I feel like you've dreamt this, baby.
No, it's real. Put football. Psychic Octopus predicts who win. Yeah, it's a Psychic Octopus.
Psychic Octopus predicts the winner of tonight's leader debate 2015.
I told you.
Jaimi, Paul the Octopus, Marcus the Psychic Pig.
I told you.
That's him dead. Oh God, I said. You see, I've still got that COVID cough, so if I laugh, I end up. Fuck me. That is hilarious. The reign of Paul the Octopus. Oh, shitting hell. Do you know something, babe? You have a real knack for remembering weird shit. Right, so what that means is you often come up with things where I go, well, that's not a fucking thing, is it? There's no way that's real. And do you know what? Often it is. And it's just that Jamie's remembered this obscure detail that nobody else remembers. Okay, so let's get back to this. Let me ask you the flip side of this question.
Yeah.
Why would in the world that we have right now, and with the way women and girls are more and more educated around their rights, feminism and issues, patriarchy, sexism, misogyny, rape, blah, 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 why would they want children?
I've got a cynical answer and a non-cynical answer.
Well, obviously, let's go for the cynical answer first.
I think that a lot of people want children to live out what they wish they'd have done in their life.
I don't think that's too much of a reach, like that answer, because we know people live vicariously through their kids.
Yeah, I think
we know they do. We know that's a thing. Look at fucking whatever it's called, dance mums, or what's it called? That fucking
dance mums.
Is it dance mums, and the pageant one as well? Fucking hell! If you want to see some people vicariously living through the kids, go watch them reality TV shows.
Yeah,
they're atrocious.
And like dads that want their sons
to be David Beckham.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So there is sort of that, and then I do think that, there's societal pressure and women want to feel like they are complete in their lives.
Go back, stop. That is massive. I think there is still a narrative that women are complete when they have children. I also think, now hear me out on this, that women who have not had children are talked to like shit by women who have had children.
And they're seen as weird
they're
and like,
they're seen as immature. Yeah, and that they don't understand the world, they don't understand female experience. That if you're a woman who has not had children, that other women who have had children talk to you like you're a fucking idiot. And I really hate that.
Yeah.
But that does definitely happen. There's someone... I'm not going to talk about it in much detail, but there's someone around me who's pregnant at the moment, and when she first told me she was pregnant, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, do not allow women who have already had children to bully you one way or another into things about your pregnancy or your baby. And I imagine that was a very strange piece of advice. I'm sure everyone else just went, congratulations, isn't that amazing? I didn't. I'm always the person. If you ever come to me with news around being pregnant or getting married or some shit, I am always the person that gives you a piece of advice that makes you think, what the fuck is wrong with you, Jess? And that was my advice. My advice was to her, do not allow women who have had babies or are much older than you or whatever bully you into decisions that they believe that you should do. Don't let them bullshit you. Don't let them scare you. Nothing. And I said to her, if you want a cesarean, have a fucking cesarean. If you want a fucking vaginal birth, you have a vaginal birth. You want a fucking home birth, have a fucking home birth. You do you. Do not allow other women to scare you and give you like horror stories or talk to you like you're an idiot, like you can't make your own choices.
Yeah.
Because I fucking see that happening. I'm sorry, but women do that to each other. I've seen them fucking do it.
I think sometimes, especially as well, when people want to, and it isn't just women, people want to feel like they're an expert in something because they have experience. So they want to just give you advice.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to birth and pregnancy...
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's bigger than that. I think it's almost like a badge of honour thing. There's definitely women that talk down to other women who either haven't had children or are currently in the early stages of pregnancy. A bit like, oh, you don't know. That kind of thing, you know?
Like, and even when you've got like little kids, like, just you wait until the terrible twos. It's nice now, and it's just you wait until they start school. Just you wait until they're teenagers. Just you wait till they're off to uni and they need this and that. Like, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm a step ahead of you, and you don't know fuck all.
Yeah,
and I really fucking hate that.
But again, that's sort of in almost like internalised misogyny again, isn't it? Around like women like not supporting each other naturally. And I'm not saying that to not support another woman is internalised misogyny, but that there's sort of this culture that goes on.
Like one-upmanship.
Yeah, of one-upmanship between women.
Yeah.
In sort of the same way where, like, you know, the fucking kids in year 9 talk down to the kids in year 7.
Oh yeah, like, oh, you don't know enough. You'll wait till you get in year 8 and they start giving you 9 pieces of homework an hour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't know. You're not doing GCSEs. You don't know nothing.
Like, oh, you wait till you're doing your A-levels.
So it's like power play.
Yeah, it is. And it's
like,
the same.
It is very, very similar, actually. I really love that you just made that comparison because it's so similar. It's, I have absolutely no idea how we got onto that topic, but I know that, like, I was talking about that, there's someone around me who's got pregnant, and, like, my advice was definitely, like, out of the ordinary. But I do feel like I wish more women said that to each other, is to fucking ignore other women, especially when they're doing that kind of power play ego type shit.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, like, one of the things I said to her was, she was saying that she was absolutely dead against, because of health issues, having a natural birth. And I said, well, look, just don't fucking have one then. You can have an elective cesarean. And I saw instantly almost this look on her face that was like, but if I do that, I'll be seen as weak. I'll be seen as not doing the real thing, not having a real birth. And as soon as that flashed across her face, I instantly was like, whoever has said something to you, fucking ignore them. It's not their body, not their baby, not their birth. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with them. Fucking let them be Mardy. Let them go, oh, well, you shouldn't really have a cesarean. Or like, oh, well, it's better to do it natural. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with you. You're not fucking doing it, are you? The other question that I wrote down was, which links into this actually, why don't women talk honestly about motherhood and life as a parent? Why is it so fucking smoke and mirrors all the time?
Because it is,
let's be
personal.
honest.
It's seen as like a personal thing against the woman.
Yeah.
So women are seen to, firstly, are supposed to be seen to be loving motherhood, because that's what a good woman does. A good woman is supposed to have a baby, supposed to enjoy it, supposed to love it, supposed to do a great job. And if they don't, they're not enough of a woman, and they're not good enough. And then if they're not good enough, then, and if their kid's naughty, then they're seen as not good enough. Or if their kid's not perfect. But actually the thing is, kids aren't perfect because, of course they're not. Because, all kids are naughty sometimes. Because that's part of being a human and understanding social cues. But then that is going to be used by someone who has got something against the woman to be thrown at her. Because the worst thing you can say to a woman is about her kids.
Yeah, it really does dig at everything about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wondered what you thought about almost the...
And that's why you can't talk honestly about it.
Yeah, and I wondered, as an extension of that, what you thought about almost the illusion, the social media illusion of parenting and of motherhood and of having a baby. I see it on Instagram, I see it on fucking TikTok, and before social media... It was in mothering magazines. Some of you'll remember those mother and baby magazines, parenting magazines, on the fucking telly, fucking everywhere. That they were almost like these amazing mums, and the kids were all clean, and they were eating diced fucking carrot and cucumber and chopped up grapes, and like they had everything sorted, and the kids went to bed at the right time, and they woke up, and all that sort of shit. And I do wonder how much is about like showcasing the perfect life.
Yeah.
So you can't admit that actually you and your fucking kid got up late. You can't find her other shoe. You can't really be asked to find it. You've plonked her in front of the TV to watch Come Outside for the 6th time. She don't care. You don't care really. You fed her some Weetabix. It's all over her. It's dried on her face like concrete. You're not going to get that off for 2 days. She's rubbed it in her hair. You're sick to death of washing it out of her hair. You know, you're pissed off. You're knackered. You feel like you've got no life. You know, your colleagues at work that you're on maternity leave from are texting you and being like, oh, this happened. We went on this social and it was awesome. But you weren't invited because you're on leave, and you're starting to feel on your own. Your other half's gone out. He's got a great job. He's got his mates 8-9 hours a day having a laugh. You know, having lunch. He's got all this independence and freedom. He's, you know, driving to work and going off and doing all this stuff, like developing his career. And you're at home with a baby that can't communicate, that you have no real there's no real fulfillment there for you. You're bored out of your brain other than being a mum, right? You're not going to put that on Instagram, are you?
No.
You're not going to put, do you know what? It's like Groundhog fucking Day. I've done this 1,000 times and it's wank. And I'm tired. And I've had enough. And I cannot wait to go back to work.
And then your partner comes home and he's seen as having done all the work all day.
Yes, and you're seen as dossing. Like, oh, what have you been doing? Nothing. Sat at home playing with the baby. No. That's not how that goes. And do you know what's interesting about that? That often if you say to the man, do you know what, if you think it's so fucking easy, why don't we swap? I'll go back to work full time and have a career, and you fucking stay at home. No. Why are you being like that? Oh, because if it's so fucking easy and it's dossing, why don't you doss for a few years? You know, it's not, is it? But it's definitely seen that way. I also think that women don't honestly talk about the humdrum. You know, like the absolute fucking repetitive shit that you're sick to death of doing. And you know, when women do speak about that, it goes viral. You know, like women sometimes make ranty sort of videos where they're going, I'm fucking sick of this, and my kids are this, and then
and all I want to do is drink.
Yeah, they'll say,
all I want is a glass of wine.
Yeah, and everyone's like, ha ha ha, clap, 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 isn't that funny? Oh my god, she's hilarious.
That's so true, that's so relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. There's so many women that see those videos and they go, "They've got 1, 2, 3 million likes on them. Do you want to know why?" Do you know what I mean? It's not that they're all sat there going, ha ha ha, that's funny, I've never thought of it like that before. What a funny comedian woman she is. Nope. They're watching the video going, yep, that's exactly how I fucking feel.
Because all of their friends, every time they try and talk about it to their friends are like, oh, your kids are lovely. And you're doing a great job. Whereas this woman on the internet who they don't know is being like, this is fucking shit, innit? Let's have a drink.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, oh, thank God. You know, relatable. And yeah, I don't think that's being addressed. And we have this real... I've noticed more and more, and I know women say they're saying it as a joke, but I'm not sure they are. That, you know, that whole like mummy drinks gin. You know, is it too early for a gin? I'm sorry, but there are so many women that are so fucking stressed with motherhood and parenthood, they actually do want to day drink.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. They're looking for an escape.
It's so difficult.
They want to
as
get
well.
out.
Like, as well, I don't think we talk enough about the pressure that schools put on them. So, like, women are supposed to have a career and cook for the kids, clean for the kids, make sure all their uniforms ironed, make sure they've got all the correct uniform, make sure they're doing extracurricular, and they've also got to fucking do these massive fucking projects with them as well.
Easter bonnets.
I was just gonna say
fucking
Easter bonnets
used to be the bane of my fucking... I'm
Easter
so
bonnets, the history project, the science
so glad
project.
our kids are too old to want an Easter bonnet. They're like teenagers. Can you imagine if you made them Easter bonnet now? They'd be like, please don't make me wear that. Please, I beg you. They probably, in fact, actually, one of them's almost at the age where he'd wear it for a joke. You know that weird age they get to where it's uncool and there's no, I'm not doing that. And then they go past that and they think everything's dead funny. So, like, yes, they would wear an Easter bonnet because it'd be hilarious. You know, it's like that sort of teenager. But you're right. You're absolutely right. You've got all of the normal parenting bullshit and admin, and then on top of that, the school sends you a letter with 2 days' notice going, it's parents come to lunch day on Thursday, so you get to come to lunch and you get to come and have a school dinner with your child.
And if you don't
And
come
you're like,
to the
well,
lunch,
I can't
seen as
because-
awful.
I know, because I never used to go because I couldn't, and I used to sort of email them back and go, is there not another, like, is that it? We're getting 2 days' notice. Like, I've got meetings.
Yeah.
I've got a life. I've got a job. I can't, you know, at the time I was employed and I couldn't just go, I couldn't like ring my boss and go, I'm not coming in Thursday afternoon because I'm going to go and have dinner at my kid's school. And they'd go, well, what, 2 days notice? You can't do that, Jess. I go, well, I'm sorry, but the school gave me 2 days notice, so I'm giving you 2 days notice, so tough. That's not going to work.
Yeah, and like the stupid fucking pieces of homework, like our friend told us the other month that her son brought home this piece of homework and he had to go on a walk and find all of these different creatures, and it was like a centipede, a butterfly, and all these different things.
Centipede's an odd one, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't just things that you could look at in the garden. They'd have to go out on a proper walk and do that piece of homework. Like, that's ridiculous.
Can you imagine if you just let your 5-year-old out and just went, come, it's your homework, it's not my fucking homework, you go and do it. Fucking wanders off up the street, don't see him for 2 days.
But like the amount of effort that takes.
I know, it's huge. It was stuff like, this is, you know, well, I don't really care how this makes me sound, but like, some of it was just too much. Like, there was so many things you were supposed to remember, so many things I was supposed to do on top of everything else. And I'll say this, I don't know if any of these women listen to this podcast, I'm not sure. I know one of them was at one point, I'm not sure if she still does or whatever, but I started this like culture where whenever we dropped the kids off at a school disco, because you had to wait for an hour and a half and then pick them up, I just got everyone to go to the pub rather than going home. And I used to gather the mums that were stood outside the disco bored or sitting in their car in the car park waiting for their kids to come out. How about you come in the pub? Because there was a pub
amazing.
down from the school.
What? Which?
You know which one I mean. So, yes. yeah. I used to be like, come on, pub now. And then, like, there used to be loads of us sat in the pub, you know, and that was much better than sitting in a car park waiting for your child to finish some fucking disco. And we did that for years. I started that when they were little, and like just got more and more people go to the pub.
That's wonderful.
And it was, you know, it was at least...
Now I know why I married you.
Oh, now you know. Oh, well, that's fucking useful.
You know. Now I'm extra glad that I married you.
What, say encouraged bored housewives to come to the pub with me?
Yeah.
It's just, I just felt like some of them weren't getting any space like that whatsoever, and I thought, well, they're just sat in a car park. You know, they could just walk down the road with me and go to a pub. And there was enough of us, so we did it. And then it became a thing where we'd like text each other and be like, school disco tonight, go in the pub. And it was nice. Okay, so I have a question for you, like to finish off. What do you think the world would look like, or what would you imagine it would look like if women did drastically reduce their sort of, I don't know, like, I don't want to say it this way, but like the output of babies, like they just stop reproducing, they don't want to do it. And say, for example, in 20 years' time, me and you are having this conversation again, and the birth rate has dropped massively. What do you think, like, as those generations go, what would be different?
I think the Earth would be healthier.
What, because of just less humans on it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't see that, would you, for several generations?
No, you probably would. I believe that you would, personally. Things like aeroplanes and cars and stuff like that would be, you know, significantly better with significantly less pollution. But I actually think that maybe, I don't know, if that was to happen, and then we were to have a feminist revolution at that point, that would be brilliant.
That would be the right
Because
time.
that would mean that as we start to re-increase the birth rate, imagine like an eco-feminism revolution. Then.
Yeah.
Where from then on, we have equality of the sexes, a fair world, and a world, and you know, a global society that looks after the earth. I don't think that would happen. I think we would just...
It wouldn't be allowed to happen, Jay.
No, I think that actually in reality what would happen is that they would just increase it. They would just find ways to increase it. And it would be capitalist ways. It'd be like, oh, if you have more babies, then...
You get like...
You get air miles.
Like tax rebate or tax discounts or something.
Yeah, and you get like...
Air miles.
You get air miles and a house.
Get a Selfridges voucher.
Or like, it'd be like you get a grand Selfridges voucher a year.
Or you get, like you said, it could be like a help to buy scheme for a house. Or
be more than a help to buy scheme.
I think they would.
Cuba,
so you're talking about they would incentivise having babies, is what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, in Cuba, it's like, this is gonna sound really weird, but it's either Cuba or Libya or both. I think it's Cuba, where when you got married, you would get a house ready for when you have a baby.
I thought you told me it was Cuba, but now
might
I can't
be Cuba.
remember.
Yeah, it might be Cuba.
Yeah.
Libya did similar though, with Gaddafi.
Yeah.
I know that's like a really sort of a difficult point because obviously, you know, there's a lot of bad things around Gaddafi, but there were some policies that, it doesn't mean that he was necessarily good or bad or, you know, whatever, but there was some policies that, you know, broken clock's right twice a day.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a really complex view around Gaddafi, and I'm not going to start discussing it on a podcast when around raising children. But, you know.
I've been thinking about this, like, what would the world look like if women, you know, drastically reduced having babies? And would it make, like, I guess the question would be, would they be more equal in the workplace? Because they wouldn't have childcare responsibilities. I don't know if they'd be more equal because sexism would still exist, misogyny would still exist.
I think everything get blamed on them.
But I do think that they would potentially... I don't know. Do you know what? Actually, no. Let me rephrase what I'm going to say. It would be the true test of the so-called gender pay gap. And what I mean by the true test is not whether it exists or not. It's what the solution is to it. Because a lot of people claim that the reason women get paid less is because of having babies, going maternity leave, and childcare issues. So if women weren't doing those things, and we did not see any fucking equality or increases or you know, closing that gap, we didn't see that happening, then that's bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's actually to do with the way that we see women as inferior. and not capable and not worth the amount of salary that the man is being paid. And it's got fuck all to do with child rearing.
I think actually it would get blamed on women and women only.
What do you mean?
So I think that they would be like, oh, it's women's fault that they're not having more children. But actually, the reality is that their partners, whatever, would be saying, I don't want a kid, because that's what happens now. But like, if we were to look at, as an example, the talks around abortion, it's seen as the women's fault that they're having to have abortions. They can't close their legs, they sleep around, they do this, they do that. Who is getting them pregnant?
I know. Who's
it's the
having
same
unprotected sex with them?
Yeah, it's the same with this though. Like, it would be seen as the woman's fault. Takes two to tango.
I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I agree. And actually, that leads me to another question, although I did say that was the final question. What do you think about... Do you think men are also experiencing that decrease in wanting children?
Yes.
Like, so young men are growing up and going, I don't want kids either, to be honest with you. Fucking neither of us want kids.
Yeah.
Do you think women are in more and more almost like relationships where neither of them want no kids? Quite happy to be together, but they don't want no kids.
I think women think they want kids until they have kids, and then they can't talk about the fact they regret having kids. But I think men don't want kids, and then when they have kids, it doesn't really impact them that much because the women do all the work.
And also, I would say men are allowed to say they regret having kids. In
I don't
fact,
think
lots of men just fuck off.
I don't think that men say that they regret having kids though, because if they don't want to have the kid, they're just like, I'm going out, I'm going to work. They just don't look after them.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think men still do have that almost power of freedom where they go, well, I'm not doing it, it's your job. I'm not doing it, I'm busy. Women don't get to do that. Women don't get to go, well, I'm not fucking doing it, you fucking do it. Because that would be seen as just shocking, appalling if a woman behaved like that. But men behave like that all the time. And, like, you know, similarly, men walk out on their children and that's seen as commonplace. But if a woman walked out on her fucking kids and went, that's it, I'm done, I've had enough.
She was seen as
evil. My gosh, I know, she'd be seen as utterly evil. You know, oh my God, I can't believe she's walked out on her children. That's disgusting.
And people would be like, you expect it from men, but women. It takes a special kind of evil woman to do that.
Oh, I hear that all the time. It takes a special kind of evil. And it's always like, you know,
it's always around a woman not being maternal.
Car parking space or something.
Yeah, because women are supposed to be like compassionate,
Selfless.
caring, kind, selfless all the time.
For sure.
To their own detriment. And they should want to do that.
It's like sacrifice. Women are supposed to sacrifice
but they
themselves.
are not supposed to see it as a sacrifice, because if they see it as a sacrifice, it's seen as selfish.
They're also, even if they see it as a sacrifice, not supposed to say it out loud.
No,
not supposed to tell anyone you see it as a sacrifice. Not even supposed to talk about any element of sacrifice in your life at all, because that makes you a terrible person. And I would really love in my lifetime to see all of this bullshit erased. You know, that, like, I don't want women to feel like they can't say, I regret doing this and I wish I hadn't done it. And actually, yes, I can love my kids, but also I can accept that this is wank and I don't want to do. I wish I hadn't done this. This isn't for me. I'm not getting the stuff out of it that I thought I would, or I never wanted it in the first place. I just kind of fell into it. And now I've got to commit myself for 18, 20, 25, 30 odd years, especially if you've got several children. And, you know, there's a lot of women out there that speak to me and sort of go, well, I'm going to do my best, but that's it, basically. I'm not doing, you know, I'm not necessarily getting much out of it. And so I think this podcast has been really interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
It'd be interesting to get your views on it as well, if you're listening. I know that me and Jaimi would both be really interested in, especially if you're a woman and you've listened to this and you've sort of gone, whoa, like, this is how I feel, and I've never heard anyone say it out loud. I would also say, if that is the case, share the podcast. You know, you can just share the episodes or share the podcast, because I do think that my experience of having these conversations with the women around me, my colleagues, my friends, family members, these are the types of conversations that women do need to be having. And even if they don't agree with anything that we've said, and having children to them is literally the most fulfilling thing ever, it's useful for them to know that there are women around them that do not feel like that. That's not a universal experience.
Yeah. And also how to respond to women when they're saying that they're not enjoying it, or they're miserable, or they're struggling at the moment.
Yeah, don't minimise it.
And
It's so easy. Like, I'm not being funny, but it's so easy to respond to that. Just say, that sounds really tough. Do you want to talk about it, or do you not want to talk about it? Because she might go, oh, I don't want to fucking get into it. I've not got the energy. But, I'll just chat to you about this instead.
Yeah,
or she might go, yes, I fucking do. And then she might then offload on you for the next 25 minutes about how wank it is.
Yeah.
And you might be the only person listening.
You can still be supportive and say, look, I've seen how much of a great job you're doing, and I think your kids are lovely to be around, but I do completely appreciate how hard it is.
Yeah.
And that no child is perfect, and that if they are, then there's something wrong. And listen to them.
And if they are, they're a clone. But it is worth having. I think it's always worth reminding a woman, especially if she's offloading on you something like this, is to remind her that she's not abnormal, she's not mentally ill, she's not weird, she's not a horrible person, she's not evil. That actually the things she's saying are very common.
Yeah.
And that, that you're glad that she's told you, and that you're glad that you can be there for her. It's very, very simple. However, even though that's a very simple switch, that is very, very different from sitting there, like what Jaimi said, and minimising the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, your kids are lovely. Oh, you don't mean that. Oh, you don't mean
And people
that,
don't mean to minimise it. They're trying to be supportive to the woman by saying that they think they're a good parent. As I've sort of said before. I think, and obviously, I've only been in the kids' lives since they were sort of, I don't know, like 7-ish. But I think if I was struggling or whatever, if somebody said, let's have a night out together, or something like that, doing something that takes them away from their kid, where they can be who they are, where they don't have to be
like their identity,
a parent,
their version of themselves that isn't a mother.
Yeah. Exactly, because motherhood becomes their whole identity.
Yeah, it does.
And they were a whole person before then.
Yeah, for sure.
And you might still think that it's taught you a lot and it's made you a different person. Fine, but you're still a person without
separate to the motherhood. For sure.
Without the kid. I think personally, I would appreciate somebody making an effort and saying that it's okay to have some time away from the children or child or baby or whatever, to enjoy yourself and be yourself. And that can be hard if you're a single parent without childcare. It fucking can be. So that's really difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
But if there is that option, then try it, do it.
This has been really interesting. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
I do feel like my throat's going now, though. Do I sound like it is? Cause
every now and again.
Yeah, it sort of cracks. I think it's because I was filming today as well. That was really useful. I really enjoyed talking about that. I'm glad we've done this. Why have we not done this topic before? It's ridiculous.
I know.
Also, partway through the podcast, we paused it. Not that you'll know where it was paused. And Jaimi opened the curtains, and now there is about 900 mosquitoes on the roof just there that I've just been watching. Yeah.
It's like the whole cast of Bug's Life has come into our bedroom.
No, because where's the fucking caterpillar guy?
He's somewhere, I'm sure.
And where's the fucking grasshopper guy?
There.
That's fucking whatever the fuck that is, that's huge. That's ridiculous. See, I watched a TikTok today and it was like every British person tonight, and it's like people going, oh, it's too hot, and it's not me and you going, where's the Bug's Life guy? Oh, there he is.
I did say that's why we're supposed to close the blinds.
Yeah, now we've got a big problem.
I know. What are we
going to do? We can't sleep in here tonight. We're going to get bit to fuck.
Yeah.
We're going to wake up looking like we've got chicken pox, except they're mozzie bites. Fuck, what are we going to do? That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like at least 8 mosquitoes on the roof, and then there's like 3 moths. 4 moths.
There's so many more than 8, darling.
Is there? Oh, my eyes are going. We need
To be
those eye
fair,
tests.
yeah, no, we need to put these eye tests. Me and Jess are like 2 years overdue an eye test. So.
I think I'm only a year. I think I've only had my glasses a year. Maybe...
Yes, you have. I was a year overdue by the time you had yours, but I couldn't afford new glasses, so I just left it.
That's not true. You had your new glasses, didn't you?
2 years ago.
Get off. That was not 2 years
2
ago
years
already.
ago.
No.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Really?
I've not had an eye test since we lived here.
We've not been here 2 years.
Been here a year and a half.
We've been here, yeah, no. Fucking hell, it's flying, isn't it?
Oh.
Right, we better go.
Should we do a cheers?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, this fucking drink was strong. I'm having that again. That was, I can't remember where that was. At Sainsbury's that was from. Right.
Night, everyone.
Night.